let's go back. What did he say here in the last little section? Hold, let's.
The future belongs to the men with iron in their blood and patriotism in their heart. We may not look to America's military might, its material wealth, or its depth of natural resources for our shield against subjugation. All this and more has been turned against us.
Now, we can't look to America's military might, resources, and things of this nature because all of that has been turned against white people. Now, the people in control of the military, of the resources in this country, by his own admission, are white people. But all of that has been turned against white people by white people. Now, what comes next is probably the biggest indicator as to how full of shit these people are. Because this is not just his mindset. This is the mindset of everyone who thinks like him. This is the mindset of the typical white nationalist. But it is a contradictory mindset. So let's explore further. What did he say next that contradicted his prior statement?
Fueling the flames of corruption and disunity. No, it is in our people that we must look.
It is in our people that we must look.
That fealty for liberty that rests only within the blood and spirit of the race which created America.
The fealty that rests only in the blood and spirit of the people who created America, whites, but does not rest in the current administration or prior administrations of whites. Explain it to me. Make it make sense to me, because I'm a low IQ nigger. Make it make sense to me how loyalty, fealty, righteousness, and all this other nonsense that these people love to attribute to whiteness doesn't exist within the whiteness that controls this country and has since its inception. It's a small task. It should be easily done by you high IQ types. Explain it to me. How does this happen in the race that possesses these attributes, whereas no other race does? Let me understand it. Help me understand it. And it's here that is the motherfucking the glaring discrepancy in these people's ideology. We're going to allow him to finish, but I just wanted to highlight that because going forward from this speech, now that that's been highlighted, everything makes sense after that. Let's go.
And sustains it still. In this and none other lies our salvation. I could list the enemies of our people. From the Jewish cabals to the Mexican cartels, from the African criminals.
The enemies of our people are the Jewish cabals to the Mexican cartels to the African criminals
to
the homosexual peddlers. But it would seem that if everything is hinging on American resources, American military, American political figures, it would seem that with them being the majority white, your enemies are not any of the things that you labeled after exposing yourself thoroughly to the discerning mind. That's what it would seem to me. Now again, I'm a low IQ nigger, so you're going to have to explain that to me. Let's continue.
exploitation. Resistance as a promise to our people and a challenge to our foes. We renew our pledge upon the altar of this sacred day of eternal hostility against all that which threatens the existence of our people. For the life of our nation! For the liberty of our people! For the victory of the American spirit! Life, liberty, victory!
So there you go. Patriot Front, everyone. Patriot Front. Front, everyone. There's a lot there, of course, and we could unpack it, but I did so in my latest Substack article. Go ahead and check that out. My latest Substack article goes on and unpacks all of that and why and how it is as wrong as you could possibly ever want to imagine. So go ahead and read my latest Substack article. But we can say this. The crux of their argument is very simple. Whites created the nation. Whites have lost control of the nation. And the only thing that can bring the nation back are whites. That is the crux of the entire argument. Now, you didn't demonstrate as to how whites lost control of the nation. You didn't demonstrate that in the least, right? You didn't explore as to why that was the case because you deny that it's even the case. You said specifically that whites still control the nation and control the destiny of the nation despite all of the vice, despite all of the corruption that you laid out there. It's pretty simple, people. And I'm not going to get into the nuances of things. I'm not going to get into all of that. What I'm going to say is pretty straightforward. Be wary of people who are trying to entice you into a revolution, but are not keeping it 100. They are not telling you the truth. Be very wary of those people. Because historically speaking, those people are fucking feds. This is their tactic. This has been their tactic for decades. Hell, in some instances, centuries, if you really look at it. But in the modern era, this has been the central motherfucking operating point of the federal government. Be very wary of people who are trying to entice you into revolution, into life-altering decisions that are based on half-truths and outright lies. If you want more detail, go ahead and check out my Substack. It's up today. I was going to wait till tomorrow to upload that shit, but, you know, you got to strike while the iron is hot. So, Substack in full effect. And apparently, from what I'm seeing, there's a lot of people upset with that Substack. There is a lot of people upset with that Substack. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on. That's a whole nother thing. Huh? Let's see here. Oh, man. Look at this. Mm. So, apparently, people are upset, of course, by this. Elijah Schaefer here said, white men are angry again, and it's only going to get more extreme the more they ignore our warnings. Right? I said it's going to culminate in one lone nut job doing something stupid and Palantir cracking down on everyone with their AI-powered surveillance prison, which was the plan the entire time, but you idiots are too stupid to understand this. Look at this one. If that was the plan all along, do you really think that they would need for someone to do something? They could just create a story out of thin air and push that. This is how detached these motherfuckers are from the current affairs. This is how detached. I told them 9/11 and a number of other instances are evidence of how they operate. There's nothing a made-up story can produce that's as effective as actual dead bodies. Like, where do you even get this goddamn notion that they can just make something up? They never have in the past. They always put skin in the game. Always. There's never been an instance where they've just made some shit up out of thin air and not had some goddamn skin in the game. 9/11. COVID. Just a number of things. Right? This is how they operate. They kill shit. Mainly because the killing is a sacrifice to their deity. But it has a dual purpose. It also advances an agenda. And this is what they're trying to cultivate. This is why Patriot Front is as adamant in this speech as they are without actually being specific. There has never been and never will be an instance whereby which people who are calling for true revolution are not specific in how that is supposed to look. Because the people who are actually genuine about revolution, those people understand that the war of information is the first fucking line. That's where it begins, with information. So if they are specific, no one can then come in and ride their coattails without being as specific and thereby which advancing their agenda. You can't be vague. You can't leave open areas for interpretation by lesser minds. That's what you can't do. And if you're talking about the white race as the only superior mind, then it would behoove you as a white revolutionary to be very specific about what your plan of action is. Patriot Front does not even have a viable fucking candidate for a significant effort at infiltration into the system that they are fucking criticizing here. They do not even have a viable candidate. The white nationalist movement has been around for fucking decades, and they don't even have an inroads into the politics that they are so critical of. They don't have that. They've never presented that as an option. All they do is they get up here, they make these fanciful speeches about white nationalism, blood and soil, and all the rest of this nonsense, but they never try and direct the motherfucking people's attention to practical application. It's not in them to do. And 9 times out of 10, when that is the motherfucking MO, it's because it is Fed based. They don't want to supply you with an option. They don't want to supply you with anything effective. They want to get in your motherfucking head. They want to get in your sensibilities. They want to capitalize on your fear. They want to capitalize on your anger, but they don't want you active. And when people who are active just by nature are drawn to these types of fucking honeypots, those are the people that they throw in the prison. That is what you're seeing here. That is what you've always seen here. That is what you will continue to see here. And it is crazy as fuck to me that these idiots online are advancing this shit unless they are working in cahoots. Revolution is not a new idea, bitch. It is a very old idea, and all you have to do to find the most effective path to it is look to history and see how it was done the right way. And the right way does not consist of 4K HD goddamn cameras, fanciful speeches, clever editing, music that plays at people's sensibilities, or any of that shit. You know what that's called? Historically speaking, propaganda. It's something to consider. It is something to consider.